and welcome back to Streaming Media Connect. This is our 15th Streaming Media Connect event, and continuing along with day one, I'm Steve Nathans-Kelly, Editor-in-Chief of Streaming Media and the chair of this conference. And welcome back for How to Leverage AI for Captioning and Localization, brought to you by IntelliVid. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping notes. The first person to correctly identify the track and the artist of the music you were just hearing, who is also here at the end of the panel when we announce the winner, will win a $50 gift card from Amazon, courtesy of Information Today, Inc. And sessions from all 3 days this week will be appearing on the Streaming Media YouTube channel, link in the chat. Please chat amongst yourselves in the chat and place questions for the panel in the Q&A box, and we'll get to as many as we can toward the end of the session. And join us back here May 20th to 22nd for the 16th Streaming Media Connect event. And if the call for speakers for that is open now, so if you have a topic or you just want to be on a panel, just use the link in the chat. I think it still says February, but it'll get to me, and I'll be looking at ideas over the next few weeks for the program for that one. So yeah, without further ado, I would like to welcome Steve Vonder, Haar, Senior Analyst at IntelliVid Research.
Hey, Steve, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Steve.
Well, I'm excited about today's panel. We're going to be talking about how AI is impacting captioning and translation, but also other forms of localization. You did a great job compiling this panel today, sir. Appreciate you bringing all these folks together.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. So I will throw it to you now. Please take it away.
Thanks, Steve. And we have representatives from Google and Vivo join us in a little bit, but certainly want to welcome all of you to today's session, and use that chat button, submit your questions. I'll be watching the Q&A closely, and Steve Nathans-Kelly told me to wait till the end of the session, but if I see a good question during the middle of the presentation, I'll inject that into the conversation so we can get real-time answers for you to the questions that you submit via the chat interface. But right now, we want to start bringing in the panels. We're going to bring them in one by one, and I'm going to call Sana Afsar from IntelliVid. She's an engineer manager over there. Joining us today from India. Welcome, Sana. You're burning the late night oil there, aren't you? And you're still on mute. So if you unmute yourself, tell us where you're coming from, and share a little bit of information about IntelliVid and what you're seeing in terms of what your company is doing for localizing content.
Hello, Steve.
Good to
Hello,
see you.
everyone. My name is Sana, as Steve mentioned. I work at IntelliVid. Steve, accessibility and equal opportunity are causes I deeply care about, making captioning a field that is essentially close to my heart. So it's a privilege. I lead the development of the project Bait Captions at IntelliVid. So Bait Captions is an AI-based content-aware solution for automating captioning workflows. It helps our customers generate good quality captions and subtitles, do quality control of their captions and subtitles, and repurpose them for different deliveries. So in short, it ensures the content is inclusive, engaging, and legally compliant.
So bringing high quality to the whole captioning translation process. And one of the people who can speak to the IntelliVid solution is one of your customers who's joined us from South Africa, Tshepiso Seremane. If you're able to activate your audio and video, we'd love to bring you in and hear a little bit about your role. You're an engineer at MultiChoice Group Company. Can you tell us a little bit about how you use captions and translations, and just a little bit about your organization and how you localize content?
Hello, Steve and the panelists. Hello, guys. So yeah, I'm a system engineer in South Africa in a company called MultiChoice. I've been working for MultiChoice for the past 2 years now, but I've been in the industry for like 10 years, if not more. So yeah, well, button captions was introduced to MultiChoice last year before last. It's been 2 years now. It's as old as me. So yeah, we quite frankly happy with the application. It has nothing. It has nothing but it's nothing but a good application. So far we've been using button captions to create subtitles out of an audio file, and that has saved us a long time, because usually we'll create an STL/subtitle in like 7 days. But since we've been using button caption, we will create the subtitle for like in 3 days, maximum 4 days. And that helps us a lot because of we get content from different third parties. And it helps us as well with regards to the languages, because of now we're getting different languages from, like I mentioned, from our third parties. And button caption is able to convert those languages to our preferred languages. And then there's the other thing that's button caption that is offering. It helps us with the frames on the gaps of each and every subtitles, because like I mentioned, there will be third parties that will send us subtitles. Then we'll run them through the button caption. It will QC that subtitle, and we'll make sure that it will meet our standards.
And Tshepiso, so MultiChoice, just for our audience's information, you're not a content creator, but you aggregate content from others?
Yes, that's correct. Well, what we do, well, we have our in-house content creators. So MultiChoice, it consists of like 52 channels, which are international and locally. So saying that, so we'll have different languages from different countries. So with the button caption, we are able now to run those audio files in button caption, and we're able to extract the subtitles from those audio with different languages.
That's awesome. Well, we'll be looking for more details on that as the panel goes along. But right now, I want to bring in Natasha Potajnik, head of data research and measurement over at Vivo. Welcome, Natasha. If we can come on in and unmute yourself and show your face to us.
Hi, nice to
Hi,
be here.
Natasha. So tell us about Vivo and what you do there, and some of the ways that you address the localization issue using AI.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm Natasha, head of data research and measurement at Vivo. Vivo, for those who don't know, we are the largest global music video network. We distribute across YouTube, our owned and operated CTV apps, and also fast channel inventory. We are truly a global company, and so we do think a lot about localization. We have to struggle with captioning as well. I'll go into later how we have and haven't succeeded using AI to do that. But beyond just captioning, when it comes to localization, there are a lot of elements for us, operational efficiency, and also more easily unlocking monetization potential in new smaller territories. And for all of those use cases, we've been able to apply AI, both traditional AI and machine learning, and also newer generative AI tools. So excited to talk more about it.
And we're looking forward to getting that input from you, Natasha. And our last panelist, last but not least, Albert Lai, the Global Director of Media and Entertainment over at Google Cloud. Albert, if you can unmute yourself and bring yourself into the conversation, tell us a little bit about your role at Google and kind of your outlook on the localization issue leveraging AI.
Great, thanks, Steve. I'm Albert Lai. In my role at Google Cloud, our strategic industries team, we work across Google Cloud's product engineering, go-to-market, as well as ISV and SI partners to bring together the best capabilities for our customers around the world. And so when I think about our global media customers, and this is the span of companies from traditional studios to streamers to news publishers to social media networks to sports leagues, the term localization, or how they view it, that has changed over the years. From in the beginning, it was really about captions and subtitles, but today it expands into things like audio descriptions and dubbing. And so what we have seen is that while the initial initiatives many years ago started with captions, what we're seeing now, and this kind of goes back to what Natasha had said earlier, companies are starting to change how they want to leverage localization for things like taking content libraries and making global content local, or making local content global, or simply using localization as a way to enhance the audience experience, meet them where they are. So some cases we've seen, hey, consumers, they just may want to use captions because they don't have the headphones. The audio mix on the television program isn't great, or they want to use subtitles because they're learning a second language. So there's a lot of these other reasons for localization beyond where it originally started, mainly from, let's say, compliance and regulatory. So a lot of really interesting use cases we're seeing today.
Yeah, and a lot of those use cases really hinge on people's trust in the accuracy of the solutions. And Albert, we actually did a survey at IntelliVid Research last month, gauging usage, deployment, perceptions of video for enterprise applications. And one of the questions we asked, whether or not people actually trusted the captions that were being generated by AI. And what we see here in the overall results from that question, 45% of those surveyed by IntelliVid Research agreed with the statement that I don't trust the accuracy of speech-to-text solutions. But what we really find is people don't have the same perceptions all across the board. Rather, what we see is that different individuals in different functional roles may have different levels of trust in the accuracy of speech to text. Here we see that folks in the media and marketing business in particular, 6 out of 10 of those folks represented in the survey saying that they agree with the statement about not trusting the accuracy of speech solutions. So with that in mind, and because we're dealing a lot with media folks like MultiChoice in South Africa, wanted to bring Tshepiso in to talk a little bit about that concept of accuracy and the quality of the transcriptions. What are you finding, Tshepiso, in terms of our ability to rely on the accuracy of these captioning solutions and translation solutions that are incorporating AI today?
Well, Steve, with us, like I mentioned, we dealing with different countries, and we've tried because English it will be standard, and we tried with Portuguese, and we're very happy with the outcome, how accurate the caption was. The guys from Kenya, they were so impressed when we presented this application to them. And they were so happy with regards to the accuracy of the language. And yeah, I think, I think when it comes to accuracy, well, they spot on. They spot on. And the nice part is there's a dictionary on the application that you can also insert your own name, your own names on the dictionary, so that button caption doesn't catch them as an error when running an STL QC. It will remember, oh, this name. It's also captured on our library. So it helps us a lot with that as well, because of in South Africa we have like 11 languages. So some of the languages, button caption will never know them when it comes maybe a Zulu or Tswana. So we'll include that on our library, so that button it will overlook that name and it will pass the STL as on the QC stage.
So, Sana, it's not necessarily easy to make that kind of thing happen. Tell us a little about how Intera Systems actually infuses quality controls into the captioning process.
Yes, Steve, quality control in caption is certainly need of the hour. Like some time or the other, we all would have come across subtitles which are not accurately reflecting what is there in the audio. Sometimes they are not time synchronized with the audio. So what happens, I would give some examples, like in post-production, what happens that video undergoes some edits. Some scenes are removed or added, or video or audio is speed up or slowed down. So captions become out of sync with video. Now, one option is to manually review the captions, which is very time consuming and tedious. So
Yeah.
other thing is that, we can use the automatic speech recognition to generate the transcript of audio and then compare it with the timings in the caption file. So using ASR transcript, we can accurately find where the audio is misaligned and correct it. And we can supply if there are any missing captions or correct any inaccuracy in the caption. Also, so this is a mandatory FCC guideline that captions and subtitles should be time synchronized with audio. So this way, automated tool can help in this. Other FCC guidelines says that captions should not hide important visual items on screen like actors' faces or any on-screen text. So here we use the face detection and burnt-in text detection. Lastly, but very important, that captions and subtitles should be well segmented. Dependent words are not separated, like first name is not separated from last name, or negation by its verb. They should not be separated by a line break. So here we make use of natural language processing so that captions are aligned and linguistically coherent units are placed in one screen. They are not separated. So these are some of the ways, in which we help in quality control of captions.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to apply the technology to make sure that you get a more high quality experience. But sometimes, Albert Lai from Google, we just need humans in the loop. Tell us about your outlook about actually combining technology with a fresh set of human eyes on the situation.
Yeah, and so, as we look at, as Google Cloud thinks about the use of AI within broader media, especially when it comes to anything related to production, we certainly believe that AI is a tool that can enable creatives and creative workflows. It can augment those processes and kind of supercharge what they're doing to make it more cost efficient, higher quality, and streamline it. So what we often see, especially within localization, is that this is about AI and human in the loop, and that this is an augmentation of processes. And a great example of that is the work that we did with Warner Brothers Discovery. And so they talk about an initiative called Caption AI. And it was about saying, how do they use machine learning and AI to be more efficient with captioning? And so if you have the chance to watch the case study that they did, they'll talk about AI, but they'll also have the individuals that are part of the captioning process, and they kind of even show on the screen how they take the outputs of the AI, how that can get integrated into their processes. So you do have that manual oversight for quality, but you're also taking advantage of the automation from AI to, in their case, reduce time by up to 80%, reduce costs by up to 50%. But of course, what they're optimizing for is very high quality film and television, where they want it to be as close to perfect and accurate as possible. And so I think that's a great example of premium content. But what we're also seeing is that depending on the content, whether it's this premium tentpole content, or is it UGC content, is it internal training and marketing, every company may have a different definition of what is acceptable for quality, for accuracy, whether or not they have to meet external compliance or regulatory. So I think there is a sliding scale here. And so AI can be used in different ways, which again may lean towards human in the middle, or you can have ones that are almost fully automated.
It's the old 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the work takes 20% of the effort. If you have AI handle that first part and get that heavy lifting out of the way, then you can have humans bring it home and deliver whatever level of accuracy you need in that last 20% of work, right? Yeah. So now captioning and translations are only part of the ways that AI can assist in the localization process. Now, I talked with each of the panelists before we started here, and before I had a chance to talk with Natasha, I thought that really we'd be just looking at Vivo leveraging AI to localize music lyrics. But Natasha, as you were alluding to before, that's really not the only use for AI in terms of localization. Can you talk a little bit about how you see AI helping to boost Vivo's localization efforts?
Yeah. And I actually want to build on a couple of Albert's points because I think what he described is pretty spot on to what we've experienced here at Vivo. So first on the multiple use cases, right? Like I think it depends on the use case, and that is going to greatly affect whether or not you can use the AI produced captions. And especially when you think about your other point around premium TV, premium CTV, like at the end of the day, a large part of our audience lives on the TV screen. Our ad inventory is premium. And when we bring it to market to advertisers, we don't want them to be tuning in to our channels and seeing shoddy captioning. So the standards are pretty high for us on making sure that those captions are really, really accurate. We have additional headwinds too that a Warner Media may not have, and that we have, or depending on what parts of Warner Media, I guess, and that we have music content. And music content is especially challenging for audio transcription models between the elongated syllables, very high velocity words sometimes, right? Whether it's hip hop, or then even genres where the artist is intentionally not being clear. So like a mumble rap genre or like a whispering ballad, which is more and more popular, right?
Yeah.
And so
you get into some genres I'm not exactly sure about, Natasha, but go right ahead.
Google them on YouTube after. See if you can understand them even without captioning. Anyway, point being that these are really, really challenging for models to tackle. And we can't be in an environment where we're just producing gibberish because we've been relying on an automated model to create captions for us. So for that use case, for like that, most obvious use case, it is a very human driven process. In addition to, it's both, right? It's sort of like Albert was saying, yes, we use AI sort of foundationally, but at the end of the day, for our top most premium content, there's human intervention, there's human guideposts, and there's human review.
Yeah.
That said, there are other use cases where it's more acceptable, even if the quality is lower, to use AI generated captions. So a great example for us is brand safety. Brand safety is super, super important to us, but do we need to nail every single word in the lyrics to be able to get the brand safety rating right? Probably not, right? We can probably get like 80% of those lyrics correct and get a pretty good sense of whether or not this is a TVMA video or something lesser. And we also have the visual components that we're integrating into our brand safety AI model. So we have other stopgaps too. And so for something like that, in order to scale it, we do leverage AI, and we are more permissive on, lower quality captions, let's call it, because of the end use case not requiring necessarily that same level of quality.
Right. So captions are one way where AI is impacting things, but you're also using AI from a localization standpoint in terms of figuring out what content to serve up to people.
Yeah, correct. So we, for those who aren't as familiar with fast channels, so we are distributed off of YouTube across fast channels. So what that means is these are like live linear broadcasts that are streamed digitally, but there's like a set program, just like you have a TV guide, and every 30 minutes of the day we'll have a program block.
Yeah, and for those who are not familiar with the term, FAST refers to free ad-supported television, and these are streaming channels that are delivered typically via integrated into other streaming services, hoping to garner some eyeballs for very tailored, specific types of programming.
Exactly. And it's across many, many endpoints for us, right? So, everything from Samsung, Roku, Hulu, et cetera.
Right.
And our challenge there is we're live across many territories, and there's quite a lot of lift to getting a collection of channels live in a new territory. We have 10 to 15 channels, let's say. They span different genres, decades, and themes. And when you're getting it live in a new territory, like let's say Italy, you're not just going to copy paste what you did in Spain, because that wouldn't work. So there is localization at play when you think about cultural preferences, requirements in certain territories, and then just operational efficiency, frankly, and actually assembling these schedules, generating them en masse without requiring a team of 20 new experts to be stood up in each new territory. And that's again where there's like this human guided AI approach where we've used AI to create the foundation of that program or that programming when we go into a new territory. And then we still retain, 2 or 3 experts who can help guide that model. So for example, in France, even if the top hits in France at any given month are mostly English speaking or mostly English songs, we still need a minimum number of French songs in the programming. French people just don't want to see all English songs in their linear programming. And so that's something that we get from local experts, and they guide the model to ensure that we produce an outcome that is good for the market.
Yeah, it can be cheaper to have AI input in that to help manage the whole process. But Albert, it's not just all about cost savings. In some cases, we can leverage this localization in a way that drives monetization as well. What do you see happening on that realm? Is it really possible to leverage AI for localization applications in a way that drives more revenue to the sheet?
Yeah, so one area, and I'm going to start with kind of the foundational technology change that has really opened up these conversations, especially in the last, I would say, 12 to 18 months. And that change, it's not just with kind of the broad AI LLM wave that all of us within the industry and even as consumers have been hearing people talk about, but it's this notion of multimodal models, which really just came about a year or so ago. And so fundamentally, when you think about what's different about these models, well, they are trained from the very beginning to understand video, text, audio, images. They have advanced reasoning, and they have temporal understanding. So what's happening over time? And so the one example of this, and then Steve, I'll bring this back into your question, I promise. I often talk about this notion of, a customer said, oh, we're looking for, in this program or ad creative, a knife. But with multimodal models, what is a knife? Is it the object that you see? Is it somebody speaking the word knife in multiple languages? Is it the letters KNIFE written in the background? Is it somebody, again, from an action standpoint, using a knife in a not so nice way? Or is it Bobby Flay chopping vegetables with a knife? Now, today's models can understand the differences. And so when you think about what people want to do with content, yes, it has started with captions and subtitles and making that accuracy, improving that, right, automating those. But what we're also seeing is this now can expand into things like audio description. And if done responsibly and working with talent and other union and contractual bodies, of actual dubbing. And so really dubbing is not just audio in a different language. Dubbing is, to the points made by some others, it's about the timing of the words to the original track. It may be about voice prosody, so you have the emotion. It's about lip sync reanimation. But again, all those need to be done properly within the rights of the talent and the content itself. But why are all these things so important? It means that companies can now think about how can they take their existing content, expand the reach to audiences to improve engagement, and ideally, right, create more ad inventory for top line revenue, have this as a way to acquire new subscribers. Or companies are also looking at content outside of their country and saying, if I can acquire that content, if I can localize it, and it could be any number of captions to subtitles to even dubbing, if I can do this properly, right, within the contractual use of that, then I can offer more content to my audience that I wouldn't have been able to get before. But I can do this in a way that, from a ROI perspective, I can again monetize you through advertising or through subscription. So we're seeing a lot more of this notion of saying, how do I expand my content library without having to produce it from scratch, which is difficult time consuming and requires very specific creative talent.
Yeah, so you mentioned the topic of contractual use. I guess that's could be a whole panel unto itself, talking about the vagaries there. Have any Cliff Notes thoughts just there on what people should be thinking about as they're watching this particular session when they're thinking about localization issues? Are there any big items on the contractual use side that people should really be aware of? For you, Albert.
Yeah, so this is a broader topic, but I would say when it comes to, from our perspective, when it comes to AI used within any of these creative processes, our viewpoint is this needs to be integrated from the very beginning. The use of AI shouldn't be an afterthought where at that point you then kind of double check to say, oh, wait, did we do this the right way? Was this the responsible use? It should be brought in early on so that it can be thought of how can this be integrated, not just from a technology perspective, but is using the technology in this way within my creative process, does this abide by, again, any of the contractual labor regulatory rights? In my mind, that key is to start it at the beginning. It's not an afterthought that happens after all the work is done. It should be something that is thought of very early on, and then that can help inform, can AI be used for that use case, or is it better served in a different use case?
Yeah, and so a lot of issues to think about when you're trying to localize, contractual issues being one, but Sana, there's quite a few issues that from a technology perspective when you're trying to localize content before that can come up kind of as a big challenge in that process. What are some of the issues that you see emerging when you're trying to develop captions for a specific audience or market segment?
Yes, Steve. So as Albert has rightly mentioned that, we can localize content to different target audiences, different geographies, so that we can monetize the content that we already have, like expand its reach. So here, when we are trying to localize content to different deliveries, we see a lot of challenges. So frame rate change is one major culprit, that comes into picture and changes the alignment of captions with audio. So video has to undergo frame rate changes because of multiple reasons. For example, due to some specific requirement of streaming companies like Netflix, Prime Video, or maybe we are getting sourcing content from different places which the content is having different frame rate, or maybe because of some standard like PAL having 25 FPS frame rate while NTSC having to 9.97 frame rate. So if video undergoes a frame rate change, captions get out of sync with video. So a drift is introduced. So captions start in sync originally, but slowly and slowly they get completely out of sync. So here, this needs to be corrected. So here AI can play a big role. Also, when we are targeting different audiences, so we need to change the reading speed. Like if we are targeting kids, so that the reading speed should be slower when compared to adult. For some locales, spelling needs to be changed, like British English, US English. Also, we see sometimes content has to undergo censoring in some geographies. Besides, we see that while repurposing, there are different screen resolutions that we need to target. So obviously, we would not want captions to hog all the screen space on a small device. So if you're targeting your captions for a smaller resolution for a mobile device, you will want to have 32 characters or less per line. Similarly, if we are targeting a larger device, we may go higher, like 42 or more characters per line. But if we are changing the number of characters per line, the segmentation of caption changes. Now we cannot put a line break randomly at any places. We need to intelligently locate where there are clause boundaries, where there are natural pauses in speech. So for that, we can use natural language processing. So these are some of the aspects where AI can, easily fit in and do a very accurate job.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Sana. But just yesterday, I put a video on LinkedIn myself that was auto captioned by the social media service, and literally the captions were covering half my face. Now I don't know if that was by purpose or by accident. Probably a happy accident, but nevertheless, when you put captions over, you can really change the look and feel
Look
of a
and feel,
video
yeah.
in an unintended way, can't you?
So one thing I wanted to point out is, so media content is generally proprietary, and privacy is utmost here. So earlier, the content providers were not very comfortable sharing their content to cloud-based AI systems. Now, with modern AI chips that support on-device processing, we see solutions are coming up with on-premise deployment, and a lot of products, like including Bait and Caption, supports on-premise deployment. And we see that adoption of AI has also been increasing because of the safety and comfort of on-premise.
Now, Tshepiso, I'm hoping we still have you there. I know that you're running short of battery on your machine, so I'm hoping that you are still with us. But can you piggyback a little bit off what Sana was talking about in terms of the challenges associated with injecting closed caption into content when you're trying to localize it? Have you what challenges have you had to overcome in that process?
Yes, I'm still here, but I've lost you for a bit there because of the network as well.
Well,
So
we have you now, and we can actually see you. So
okay.
if you're able to share input on your challenges associated with making localized caption content happen.
Well, we had some issues when we started with this, but luckily Sana has a great team. We've managed to like they just a call away. They're in India, we in South Africa, but from the support that we're getting from them, it's out of this world. Because for each and every call, for each and every instant that we'll have in regards to the application itself, and in regards to upgrading some of the stuff to meet our needs. The support team, Guraf and the team, they so supportive in regards to that. I'm not quite too sure if I've covered everything because I didn't actually hear what Sana said because of the network as well. So yeah, it's really bad on my end.
No,
And sorry for that, guys.
No, you're providing great input there, and as an end user for these systems, it's I guess you're able to do things now. You've been in your role for about 2 years. Have you seen substantial changes in what you're able to achieve now versus even just 2 years ago?
Most definitely, most definitely. Like at first, like I stated, we'll create a subtitle that will take a week for each subtitle. But now with the button captions, we are able to do that in like 3 days or 4 days. So that's a great change actually to have that. And with regards to again having to deal with so many different third parties, so it makes our lives so easy. So that we know we can drop an audio file or video file in button caption, and it will create the subtitles for us. Then if we're not happy with the subtitles, we can always run the subtitles again for QC, and we know after that we got to go. And that helps us a lot. It saves us a lot of time, and it saves us a lot of money as well. And I mentioned earlier that we have like 80. That was a mistake. We have like 140 channels in our platform. So that's a lot of channels to deal with and to create subtitles for. So we're having button caption in hand, like it becomes handy.
Yeah, and as we see these captioning capabilities become more cost effective, as we see these solutions becoming easier to implement, Albert, I guess we're seeing a more ubiquitous nature of captioning overall, more content being boosted up by captioning materials associated with it. So as we see the instance of ubiquitous captioning begin to take hold, what implications does that have for the ways that people are using these capabilities? I think you referenced something earlier on in our chat about using captions to learn a second language, but could you expand upon that a little bit? The impacts that we're seeing as a result of more widely available captioning capabilities.
Yeah, and let me cover this on two facets. One, the first one being that it's not only about the accuracy of transcription. What we're seeing now is companies are saying, do I want 100% accuracy, perfect world? Yes, that would always happen. But then you start getting into what I would call the adjacencies around what is being spoken, which is, do we want, and I say this in a creative standpoint, do you want every part of that, or should that be intelligently removed? Do you want the AI to help, kind of model out intensity of speech or vocal bursts or ambient sounds in music, or help with diarization and blocking? So now those are areas that customers are saying, it's not just about getting the right quote words, it's about ensuring that they can be displayed appropriately. And as Sana mentioned before, how is it shown to convey the individual speaking? So that's the first one. I think the second point too is what we hear many companies telling us is that once they realize that AI can be part of the captioning process, and this is especially in live linear, but this can apply to VOD as well, they often say, I can do captions and subtitles, almost on the fly in real time. Then they start asking, what else can I learn at this moment that can help with the audience experience, with monetization? So what they're starting to explore at scale is to say, can I understand what's happening in a scene, in a shot? Can that be used to influence when an ad break is coming? My classification for ad targeting, can I use it for any moderation flags that I need to be concerned about from a content perspective? So the conversation may have started with captioning and localization, but it's expanded into how to better understand the content and how to better monetize and engage audiences.
Now, Natasha, you were already talking to us a little bit about how you're leveraging AI, for example, to make sure that French songs are included for French audiences. But do you have any other nuances you can share in terms of how AI influences the content curation process for FAST channels?
Yeah, I think some of what Albert was getting at there at the end is similar to work that we are starting to explore. So meaning using AI to more deeply understand content. So captions.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. So captions and transcripts are part of that. And then I think in more traditional machine learning methods, computer vision methods would just look to see, okay, there's a dog in the video. Got it. Dog, checkbox. And now there are more expectations from advertisers to go beyond that. So like if I'm a pet brand, do I want to be advertising before a music video where a dog dies or something violent happens to a dog? Maybe not, right? So what is the deeper nature of the content exactly? What is happening to that dog? What is the tone of the video? We are starting to use AI to understand all of that and then ultimately use it for brand safety, but also use it to bundle targeting packages for advertisers. The other thing I would say is where we're finding a lot of traction is using AI to match content with ad creative. So we'll get ad creative from an advertiser. It will have certain themes. It will have certain topics in it. We'll use AI to match what we're seeing there into our library because we have over 1 million music videos. So trying to get a sense for places where there might be synergies. And using that as a premium, we basically created that as a premium ad product for the right advertisers where that kind of contextual relevance is really, really important. Kind of goes beyond standard contextual targeting to something that's more akin to like a dynamic contextual targeting.
Now, Tshepiso, for MultiChoice viewers, does having that closed caption chain capabilities, does that change the experience for them at all? what are you seeing from your viewership in terms of their adoption of closed captioning or the impact it has on their experience? And I'm hoping that Tshepiso is still there. We might be having network problems with him. Tshepiso, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So we were just
Hello?
talking a little bit about now that we have more commonplace uses of closed captioning, do viewers' experiences change at all? Do their expectations of the content change? Are you getting any feedback from MultiChoice customers about how having closed captions impacts their experience and or their satisfaction with the MultiChoice option? And I think we might have lost Tshepiso again. So I'm going to just pitch to Albert real quick because technology is moving fast and certainly faster than and Tshepiso, you're okay. Are you with us?
Oh, well, I'm struggling here, Stevie. My network is it's bad. You keep on.
We keep cutting out. Let me see if I can ask you
No,
this question one last time. Are you seeing
okay.
your customers' experience change as you have captioning more broadly available on your content? Is there greater satisfaction among viewers? Are they watching longer? What impact does having captioning on a more ubiquitous basis have on viewer satisfaction with the multi-choice offering?
Oh, well, thank you for that as well, Steve. Well, with regards to the viewers, well, we'll be getting a great response with regards to that because there's no multiple errors that's happening now because of it can also pattern caption can also sense the vulgar words, which it will cancel or other it will mute them, and then and especially we've been using pattern caption in our streaming platform, which is a good platform that we've been exposing to our new viewers. And for that, we had issues at first. We had multiple errors when it comes to captioning the subtitles. But ever since we've been using pattern caption, like we've been having a great review from the customers. Yes.
So, Santa, do you have any thoughts on what other customers of Intera Systems are finding in terms of how more ubiquitous availability of closed captioning and translations impact the quality of the viewing experience for their audiences?
Certainly. So, presence of captions and subtitles have increased the reach of content, and a lot of studies have been done in the past, like I would say by Verizon Media and Publicis Media, that says that now captions and subtitles are not just targeted for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. So, more than 50% of people who consume captions do not have any hearing disability. So I would say that captions and subtitles are as integral part of media as is audio and video. And we keep getting the same feedback from our customers as well, that viewership increases when captions are present, and it helps in reach and monetization of their content. One thing, that I would say that of course, captions and subtitles boost recall and helps in content comprehension. But I would say that, there are a lot of times when people are reaching out to social media when they're bored. So we can imagine scenarios like there is a caregiver who needs to be attentive to the need of, let's say, a patient, but is mostly sitting idle, but needs to be attentive. Someone who is waiting in a line, or let's say a shopkeeper waiting for customers. So these people cannot just put on headphone and cut themselves off their surroundings, but they are bored as well. So captioning is a thing, that lets them get the dose of entertainment they need, as well as be attentive to their surrounding. So I would say, that so captions are now becoming as integral part of media, as integral as is audio and video.
Now we have one question from the Q&A, and certainly we encourage all our viewers to submit questions here. But they're asking, do you make use or do you enable on-prem closed captioning for walled garden to enterprise use cases, and closed captioning in cloud for public-facing media? So do you see yourself implementing these solutions in more private scenarios, less media and entertainment focus? Is there room for these types of capabilities in use in conjunction with enterprise video?
Certainly. So we see like our target customers are in media and entertainment, but the solution is absolutely ready to take on, use cases in other territories mentioned, including corporate videos and other areas where, captions and subtitles can boost the reach of the content.
Now we're coming to the end here. We only got about 5 minutes left, and we haven't even covered all the territory we want to cover. So I'm gonna have to just go to my concluding question here, and I'm gonna start with a Tshepiso here, so that maybe we can take advantage of having his battery last for just a few more moments. That how do you see all this transforming in the next 3 to 5 years, from a content provider standpoint? Tshepiso, what's coming around the corner that makes you really excited about AI and its impact on localizing content?
Well, you know what, Steve? The sky's the limit. When I started here,
And we see the light. There he is.
we can see for sure. When I started here at MultiChoice, the baton caption was handed to me, and it was presented to me, and I had to feedback to the team. And when I gave the team feedback, telling them, guys, this application can create subtitles out of an audio file, can create subtitles out of a video file. They couldn't believe me up until it happened. Look at it now. So at this point, Stevie, well, sky's the limit. And MultiChoice is one of the companies that they more open to technology. They like, we'll see. Maybe Sana will come up with something nice for us, because we've been using their system for quite some time. It's not only the baton caption that we've been using. We're also using the baton QC, which QCs the video files as well. So yeah, like I mentioned, Stevie, the sky's the limit. So yeah, that's about it. I might be off now. And thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you so much to the panelists for this presentation. Hope to see you soon, guys.
Tshepiso, thanks so much, and thanks for nursing your phone through this process. So many thanks for your input today. Albert, your thoughts on big changes on the horizon for the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I would bucket into two areas. I think certainly within the area of live and linear content, with the advancements of just AI capabilities as inference cost and time is reduced. Certainly expect to see just more incremental improvements in the workflows and steps that require almost near real-time access and thoughts, right? So that will certainly get better in my mind. I think the other area that leads to a more interesting way of thinking about content, not just new content, but even archival content that could be 50 or 100 years old. And I alluded to this earlier, is that notion of dubbing and localization. Again, needs to be done appropriately and responsibly, and understanding the rights of that content, but being able to have a piece of content where you can do high quality or the appropriate quality level of dubbing, of being able to even take words that may appear in the background, and again, if done responsibly, translate, localize if needed. We're at a stage where that manipulation, transformation of not just the audio, but the visuals can be done. And it needs to be done, again, as part of the creative process, but can be done in a more time-efficient, cost-efficient manner. But again, I would wrap all of this in the move quickly and be innovative, but also be responsible when you're using AI for these use cases.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Natasha, we only have a few moments left, 3 to 5 year time horizon. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited for improved audio processing generally, especially like on the music side, right? I think the audio models we have do a good job separating instrumental and lyrics, but then when it comes to the instrumental part, how can we go deeper there, disentangling instruments, disentangling when a crescendo is happening, the chorus versus the verses. And the reason that's important for us is because it ultimately feeds into our optimization algorithms that try to figure out which music videos we should be playing today. And so if we can start to collect that kind of metadata and generate it using AI, I think it unlocks a lot of potential performance gains for us.
Boy, there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming up on the music realm as it relates to that for sure. Sana, you have the last word. 3 to 5 year time horizon. What do you see?
We see, that multimodal AI are going to, change this landscape. Earlier, I talked about how ASR can correct the alignment, but imagine ASR coupled with a lip reading AI, the accuracy of timing that it can achieve. And ASR coupled with, let's say, a vision AI where we can find scene changes. So the captions timing can then be adjusted so that the captions are not crossing scene change boundary. Similarly, if we couple face detection with ASR, we can figure out, speaker diarization more accurately, even when multiple speakers are speaking, at the same time. We see that AI-generated captions reflecting tone and mood of the speaker accurately when, let's say, AI is coupled with sentiment analysis. ASR is coupled with sentiment analysis. So let's say normally when we say okay, and ASR supplies a flat okay. Imagine coupling it with AI, which can, when see a worried facial expression in the video, then it can augment it, and instead of a flat okay, can say okay ... and in audio description, hesitant tone. So this is the level we are, seeing the unprecedented levels we can reach in captions automation in the coming years.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch this market evolve. We can only imagine as we're looking in the crystal ball what actually is going to come into place. But I want to thank our panelists, Sana, for certainly Albert and Natasha, and Tshepiso, who's no longer on the call with us. But great input all around. Steve, Nathan Skelly, you did a great job giving me very smart panelists to talk with. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you, Steve Vonder, Haar. Thanks to all the panelists. It's a great range of perspectives, really wonderful conversation, and glad you could all be here. And thank you to Intera Systems and also to all the audience for joining us. And so before we go, I just want to announce our gift card winner. The walk-up music you heard as we were coming in was Chest Fever by the band and the great Garth Hudson. The winner is Matthew LeCount. And please join us right back here at 2:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Pacific Time for our first great debate of the week. Is premium live sports streaming hurting sports fandom? So hope to see everyone back here for that. Thanks again.